Just like that, we're back. The midweek show, views from section 400. I'm your host, Matt. My other two hosts, Jack and Brian. You guys already know the deal by now. Like I said, it's the midweek show. Another action-packed episode for you guys tonight. Been a pretty crazy last few weeks with the holidays. Some crazy games across all major sports, around the country and really around the world. But just want to jump over to you guys. Say what's up, man. I mean, how you been, Jack? How you been, Brian? Brian, if you want to say something, say what's up to the people, dude. Haven't heard from you in a while. What do you got?
Yeah, the Mets just signed Luis Severino. I don't know how I feel about that. Initial reaction, I'm not very happy. I'm sure I'm overreacting a little bit, but the dude had a 6.5 ERA last year. So my teams continue to be the definition of mediocrity, and that might even be giving them too much credit. So not too high vibes over here.
Jeez, I don't like to hear that about your team, but I'm doing all right, dude. I was out in Auburn, Alabama this past weekend. I was at the Iron Bowl. I did witness that unbelievable 4th and 31 play. The Auburn's defensive coordinator needs to be fired after that. Simple as that. I mean, you just can't. The entire time I'm sitting in the stands going, we're bringing 3, we're bringing 4. We haven't gotten home a single time yet. It's time to maybe bring a 5th guy, maybe blitz once or twice. Never. At no point did it happen. And then on the last play of the game, we sent 3 guys. 2 guys get double teamed. One sort of sitting there as a spy. Milrow just sits there for, 6-7 seconds, lets his receivers get in the end zone, just tosses one up there.
They sent 2 guys. They had a spy for some reason. It's 31 yards. I don't think he's going to scramble for 31 yards when you have 8 guys back in the end zone. You just have a spy just sitting there.
Imagine sending 5, making him throw the ball within 3 or 4 seconds like every other play is supposed to. Guys aren't even in the end zone yet.
Yeah, it was the one thing that Auburn secondary can do well, too, is play man. So you can trust them at least to play man for, 7 seconds while the receivers run to a lot of things I could say about that play.
Yeah, man, I was really looking forward to going 3-0 in my home Iron Bowls in Auburn, Alabama, but didn't happen this time in Jordan-Hare. We'll move on to the next time, and let's move on with the show as well. Tough break for the Tigers.
Yeah, I just got to say I did have Auburn money line, so that was tough, and I am 1-0 all time in Iron Bowls that I've attended. So undefeated, that's one for life, Alabama. Moving on, though, with the show, it's a nice little opener there, but I guess we can kind of touch on the NFL as well. I know I had a decent betting weekend going 500. Still want to grow that record a little more. I think I'm 11, 12 games above 500 on the season. But you guys, I'll start with Brian. What was going on with the picks last weekend, man? Because I think – did you close your eyes and pick? Did you have, your grandma take the picks for you? What was going on?
Yeah, so it all went downhill after Jack Harlow came out to Tyler Hero. That was kind of the start of it all. And then CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott throws for 330 yards, and CeeDee Lamb ends with 50. So I'm still calling that a good read. That's whatever. But yeah, my Sunday was rough. The Giants won. So that was a big one. Can't imagine what my record would have been like if they frauded that game. Yeah, Tommy DeVito.
Toss up the Tommy, baby.
And then right after, the GM says we're committed to Daniel Jones. What?
They paid him $100 million?
But what a crazy press conference. Like, why is that guy speaking?
Yeah, well,
the Giants season's over. The Eagles are 10-1. I don't see Howie Roseman doing press conferences at this point in time. I mean, why was the Giants GM up there doing a press conference? What? Like, he doesn't have to. He doesn't need to go do that.
New York sports are just a joke right now. I already talked about Severino today. The Giants GMs doing press conferences. Hey, the Knicks are in the NBA in-season knockout stage, so we'll get to that later. But at least they're doing something right.
Yeah, that's like I think the press conference, when your team's out of it, your quarterback's out of it, that clearly you're committed. You gave the guy a shit ton of money. Clearly that's commitment there. Like towards the end of season press conference, somebody's going to ask after DeVito wins a couple of games. There's really no point there, I think. But whatever. Again, like you said, love seeing the Giants in turmoil. And that's because I'm a Birds fan and we're 10-1. Got a crazy game to recap from Buffalo. We're more or less in Philly, but I mean, dude, guys, how nuts was that game on Sunday? I mean, Jack, was that not one of the crazier games of the year?
Oh, easily, easily. That might be my favorite game of the year that I've seen so far. There's definitely some recency bias, but I mean that was electric, dude. The Bills had them and just gave it away at the end. I mean, Jake Elliott, love the shirt, bang that field goal in, dude. Just tucked it right in there, like he was tucking in his like kids goodnight, dude. It was beautiful. It was a great kick.
Rain,
In the
wind,
rain,
who
dude.
cares?
Dude, on the same day that Justin Tucker misses like a 44-yard field goal, might be a new sheriff in town. Might be.
Well, Jake Elliott, did win. I think it's NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. I don't know. I don't think they group it all. I think they keep the conferences separate. So NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. He did bang that field goal, and that is why I got the Elliott merch on tonight as we record this pod, because I got to show love to, as you kind of almost said there, Jake Elliott, best kicker in the NFL. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He's been lights out the last couple of years for the Birds. And, that's what we do over here at Section 400. We're way up in the nosebleeds. We see that kind of stuff. We see the guys grinding out, making plays. And, he tied the game, and that's just as good as a win, because if he didn't make that field goal, they were losing the game. So got to give it up to Jake Elliott, NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. We got the merch on. Come on, no fake fans over here. I want to know who's got the Elliott. I want to know who's got the Elliott merch as a Birds fan. I don't think anyone does.
I hate that the Eagles got that Super Bowl because I can't make fun of you for adding another pointless trophy to the trophy case. But yeah, that one was tough to watch, especially after Jim Nantz saw the touchdown at the end and compared it to something he saw on Saturday. So I was just not having a good time. The Birds are too good. They need to be stopped. This gauntlet of a schedule, they're just running through everybody. Yeah, it
looks like a joke of a schedule.
We'll get to the 49ers a little bit later and then again on Sunday, but that's pretty much the only game I really have hope for in terms of knocking off the Birds in the regular season and then in the playoffs, because the Chiefs now look like frauds, and yeah, it's a little rattling over here.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of a change in the NFL landscape since I started calling everybody frauds, but I'm still, not sticking to my guns, but I still do think there's a lot of fraudulent teams out there, and some of them as kind of came into light, as touched on the Lions. Are we still confident in them? I mean, Brian, I know you're not confident for them taking number 1 seed in the NFC. I guess the Jags won as well, but we'll leave them alone until the NFL pod. But one thing on the Eagles. No, one thing on the Eagles, I do want to save a lot for the NFL pod, because that obviously is our NFL show. So we want to cover a lot of NFL there, but season's heating up. It's hard not to address it. I got the Jake Elliott merch on. Like, I'd be a fraud if I don't bring it up. But the Eagles, this is a game this Sunday where you shut the 49er frauds, clowns, whatever you want to call them. They're, it's a joke. They've been whining since the NFC Championship game last year, all about, the not Brock Purdy, and we would have won that game, and we would have won the Super Bowl, and this, that, and the third. Shut up. You call Philly a dirty city? You frauds don't even play in San Francisco, which is a shit show. Pretty sure you guys are hours away from San Francisco. So you guys are frauds. You guys are a bunch of clowns. And I really have had enough of it. this is where the Eagles put it beyond a reasonable doubt. You go out there, you smoke them with Brock Purdy because, Brock Purdy's a fraud too. I don't care what anybody says about him. He's got loaded weapons. The guy's making $900K a year. Sure, you can load the team around him. What happens when you have to pay him or you put money into him? Team's going to fraud, and he's really going to turn out to be a fraud. So all I'm saying, I really don't want to get fired up, but I know I'm on the train. You put it beyond a reasonable doubt on Sunday. You win the game against the Niners, and you shut those clowns up, fans and team. I'm talking to you, Debo. Shut up, kick them out of Philly, and let's move on. I don't care if we beat Dallas the following week.
Yeah, it is. You touched on Debo there. It's a little wild. He's been so upset for a year now.
Dude hasn't shut up.
Yeah, the fans is one thing, but a player actively complaining.
Podcasts, interviews, it's nonstop. The guy's always got something to say. You guys know how I feel about that. Big game on Sunday. Let me jump to you guys real quick and ask: is this game Sunday more important than the divisional battle the following week against Dallas? I mean, if the Eagles win Sunday, is it who gives a shit about Dallas the following week? I mean, we already beat them once. Still have the Giants twice, which should be 2 free wins, and the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll tell you right there. This game against the Niners is definitely bigger. It's bigger for both teams. I mean, NFC Championship rematch. Everyone's talking that talk, like you were saying. Debo's been talking it all damn year. This is gonna be the marquee matchup. The matchup everyone's got circled on their calendar probably all year since week 1. So I'm really looking forward to that. You said it already. They have a nice lead over the Cowboys right now in the division. They already beat them once. So if they lose this one the following week after, OT in Buffalo against Buffalo, and then playing the 49ers, another tough test. They lose the Cowboys, it's not that big a deal because they'll be 11-1 sitting at top, or I guess 11-2 if they lose the Cowboys and beat the Niners. Yeah, this game's going to be the biggest one, no doubt.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I think the Eagles can handle, they'd have the Seahawks, Giants, Cardinals, Giants. Not really that scared of the Seahawks. We've kind of seen them really tail off here as we run into crunch time. But I'll leave it there. I know I got on a little bit of an NFL rant, but it's Niners week. I got the Jake Elliott merch on. I mean, can you really blame me? But we can jump over, I guess, now finally to the NBA. And Brian, I know you've been our lead analyst on the Charge, covering the NBA in-season tournament, so everybody else doesn't have to. What have you been noticing? Where are we at? Any NBA big news? I want to know what's going on so that I don't have to check back in until they're in Vegas.
Yeah, so the elephant in the room, or I guess the kangaroo in the room in our case, is Josh Giddey on our Thunder future, allegedly slept with a girl in high school. The jury is still out. Apparently, they're investigating, and the girl and her family are not complying with the investigation. So now the federal government is getting involved. So that's a scene. But for now, Josh Giddey is playing basketball. And until he's proven guilty, we're going to just keep hoping the Thunder rack up wins. But yeah, him missing would not be good for our chances. They also did not make the in-season tournament, so good thing we didn't put our future on that. Yeah. But we are at the knockout stages of the in-season tournament. Things shook out about what you would expect. In the West, you got the Lakers and the Suns. The Pelicans, I know, Matt, you were big on the Pelicans coming into the season, and Brandon Ingram taking, 3 blunts and then scoring 30 points every game.
Zion, I think CJ McCollum's back tonight too. So just a little nugget there, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah, CJ's coming back, and then Zion's staying off the gumbo down there. He's looking good. So yeah, Pelicans, they play your Sixers tonight. We'll see how that goes. They're 500 total, but they went 3-1 in the tournament, so they're in. The Sacramento Kings got their revenge on the Warriors last night. Warriors knocked them out in 7 games last year in the playoffs, so a little bit of revenge for the Kings last night, knocked them out of the in-season tournament, and then they found their way there. In the East, it's the big hitters. You got the Bucks, you got the Celtics. The Knicks made it, knocking out our Miami Heat, unfortunately. And then the Indiana Pacers went 4-0 behind Tyrese Halliburton. I put in that MVP future, so we'll see how that holds with him. But should be a fun knockout stage of basketball. I know these games have at least impressed me. They've been pretty good. So we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can't say that I've been following that closely, but that's why we got you, on the charge, leading everyone in the nation on how to watch, how to bet, and really what's going on. Because I'm still telling you, I think, and I'm probably a casual take on this because I could be way wrong, but like, dude, there might be like over 50% of the people that like have no idea still what's going on with the in-season tournament.
Dude, like, so
I
this
mean,
is
there's got to be a
another.
lot of people who just still have no idea.
Yeah, I've had an
Okay.
ongoing bit on the write-ups here of just figure it out, Adam, because everything Adam Silver has done about this tournament has been kind of like, what are you doing?
Right.
So the tiebreaker for groups was a head-to-head record, which is how the Celtics got in because they beat the Magic, who also went 3-1. But the tiebreaker for the wild card was point differential. But there were teams in groups that had a better record and a worse point differential, but because they won head to head, they won the group. But then there were teams in the wild card that beat. So the wild card in the West is the Suns. The Suns lost to the Timberwolves, but they're in a different group, but the Suns had a higher point differential. So the Suns made it.
Like,
But
dude, like that's what I'm saying. You're going through this whole thing, and like you lost me.
but
Like it's all over the place.
yeah, in a league where just 8 teams make the playoffs and it's the 8 best records, there is no reason to not just have like one tiebreaker for one wild card team in the in season. They made this way too complicated. They were tweeting it. They were like 500-word tweets last night about every scenario for a team to get in, and all the replies were like, "I'm not reading all that. This makes no sense." And I don't blame them. I tried
I
to put together a guide last night, and I hurt my brain. It took me like 2 hours to try to make it as easy for a casual to understand, and I don't think I even made it that easy to understand. So yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I mean that was pretty that was a lot of stuff that I don't think anybody's going to be able to follow because, like I said, and I think I'm right. A lot of people here still have no idea what's going on. But you did touch on Josh Giddey. We also got what's his name, Corey Perry, potentially sleeping with Connor Bedard's mom over on the ice. What's going on there? GM of the Blackhawks says his releasing has nothing to do with those rumors. I call bullshit.
Yeah, but there's like
Everything to do with those rumors.
it's like a 20-year age gap between your phenom #1 pick and this. I don't know. It was Perry. Did he get ice time? What is he a
I
big
don't.
part of the
I
team?
honestly have no idea. The Blackhawks, even though they have Bedard, that's about the only reason you'd watch them this year. I think they're maybe only have 5 wins on the year. Definitely at the bottom of their conference. Yeah, Corey Perry. He looks like a little bit of an older guy. I will say, Connor Bedard's mom, very attractive lady. I mean, she is not ugly. So this isn't like holy shit, but that's the rumors right now. The dude got cut immediately. GM says it has nothing to do with that. Clearly, probably has everything to do with that. And, don't want to spend too much time in the NHL, but I think that's a pretty wild story. As, I think this dude basically just got caught banging, the potential Wayne Gretzky of our generation's mother.
You got to be a better teammate than that, man.
Right?
No, not a locker room guy.
He's not a glue guy. If your guy's not playing a lot, and I don't know what his ice time was, but if your guy's not getting on the ice a lot, you got to be that glue guy in the locker room. And clearly that ruffled a lot of feathers because not only did the GM say, the releasing had nothing to do with it, the GM was fired up. Like he looked like, it wasn't screaming and yelling, but like he had that pissed off, like just totally mad, which I mean, you can't blame the guy, I guess. He's got a lot of unwanted attention, but wild story nonetheless. That guy's releasing 100% has everything to do with him banging Bedard's mom. And, do you got to pick one guy? You're obviously going to pick the dude you just picked #1 overall. And that's the bottom line. So, maybe Corey Perry and Bedard's mom can have a growing relationship now because this guy clearly didn't give a fuck in the beginning. So who knows what he'll think now? But I do want to jump over to college football. I know we had an exciting weekend with the Iron Bowl. Obviously, for myself, having money on Auburn money line, for you guys being the Auburn fans, Jack in attendance. I know you guys kind of already touched on it, but I just want to, Jack, I don't know how much college football you watch, but how was, any of the other games you took in? I know Washington again had a tough game. We saw Ohio State go down. Some big matchups, and really shaping up the Final Four here.
Yeah. So I was watching the Michigan Ohio State game at tailgate, which was awesome. Shout out Jack Heaney for hosting a nice tailgate. So that was good. I actually wanted Michigan to win. I don't like either of the teams, to be honest, but I hate Ohio State a little bit more. All that the Ohio State bullshit gets on my nerves. And then went into the game, watched the Iron Bowl. Tough loss. I already touched on it, but feel free to hit me in the comments if you want to scrape at me a little bit more. We can get scrappy in the comments. And then after that loss, went over to a local bar, watched the Florida State game, saw them come back on Florida, which was nice. Keeping that alive at least. I think at the end of the day, if they end up winning that ACC championship against Louisville, you got to put them in there. I mean, how are you going to keep a team 13-0 out of there? I don't know.
Yeah, that's always the question: is how can you let a team undefeated get snubbed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I ended up watching, football all day. After seeing what I saw, Georgia, Alabama, that's going to be a hell of a game in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's basically a home game for the Georgia Bulldogs, but Alabama's been there before. They're familiar. These two teams have, clashed here a number of times over the past few years, and it's going to be a hell of a matchup in the SEC championship.
Well, it is. It's going to be something to look out for. And Brian, I will jump over to you in a second, but yeah, I think the biggest game though was Michigan Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State now, and kind of like you said, Jack, with Louisville potentially, I don't know. That's going to be a close game with Florida State, but if Louisville doesn't, clutch that out and win that out, and Florida State escapes again, I think you got to put Florida State in, which is crazy, and it's you're leaving Ohio State out, who at one point in the year I think was the number one team in the whole country and looked to be a lock to get in, is now going to get snubbed. Is that a snub candidate over Florida State? I mean, it really creates chaos. But Brian, over to you. What did you see, man? I mean, you got any other takes, or maybe you think Florida State does deserve it, doesn't deserve it? Curious to know what you think here.
Yeah, so the first thing you mentioned it, our Washington Huskies struggled again. And I am officially rattled. We are 10-point underdogs this week against Oregon. Oh, that's you're saying a hammer, but
Hammer.
10 points, that's a lot of points. But I will be hammering it, but it goes to show you that we may not be in a good spot heading into Friday. But I will give you guys
have some faith, man.
I have faith, but they've been trying their hardest to take away my faith the last couple weeks.
Completely discarding them.
I'm just saying, like, to struggle like they did against Washington State at home was a little bit concerning.
It's a rivalry game. Come on. Believe in Phoenix.
I'm a believer. I'm just saying it wasn't great looking at that line this morning.
Yeah.
But I will give you guys a little nightmare scenario here. So we touched on the championship games. So you have number 1 Georgia taking on number 8 Alabama. Alabama wins that game, moves to 11-1. Georgia with their first loss. Then you have Texas winning the Big 12. Florida State loses the ACC. Then you have Oregon beat Washington, so they both have one loss, but Oregon is the Pac-12 champ. And then you have Ohio State with one loss, and then you have Michigan as the Big 12 champ as the only lock seemingly there. I guess Florida State, if they win, they technically be a lock, but they're still a bad undefeated team with a backup quarterback. They were a good team with Jordan Travis. So you have Michigan undefeated, you have Florida State undefeated, you have Georgia with a loss, you have Alabama with one loss as SEC champions, you have Texas with one loss as Big 12 champions, and then you have Oregon and Washington with one loss, with Oregon as the Pac-12 champion. Who gets it?
All right.
That's crazy.
Relax. Relax. Some of those you can eliminate pretty easily, all right? And let me tell you which ones you can. If Oregon beats Washington, Washington's done. Simple as that. And no ifs, ands, buts about it. If Florida State loses, they're done. No ifs, ands, buts about it. If that happens, you got it's really between Georgia and Ohio State and Texas, I guess. Texas as well.
So you're putting Bama in.
If Bama beats Georgia, they're in. Period.
If Bama beats Georgia, they gotta be in.
Yeah, they're in. They're in before winning that power championship means a lot. So, especially the SEC championship. All right, it just means more. All right.
Yeah.
So, Bama beats Georgia, they're in. No doubt about it. Michigan, I think we can hold our horse. I think we can ride Michigan. They're going to be the 1 seed. Unless Georgia wins and beats Bama. All right. So let's go ahead and make Georgia the 1 seed. Let's assume that they beat Bama. Okay. All right. Georgia's going into the 1. Number 2, we got Michigan. Number 3.
Gotta be the Pac-12 winner, right?
It's gonna be the Pac-12 winner, no doubt. I'm gonna go ahead and hedge myself here. I'm taking Oregon this weekend. Slipping into that 3 spot. And then at number 4, that's where it really gets tough. I think it's either Ohio State or Texas, and I don't know which one they're gonna pick. I think you could it really is a toss up.
Yeah, and then that's what makes it even more crazy if Alabama wins, because then that's Georgia down there at the 4th spot too, and Alabama down there. So
right. So is Georgia an auto lock for the Final Four? Meaning, if they lose to Bama, are they still a lock for the Final Four?
I don't know, because then what do you do with Ohio State?
Yeah, that's the other one, Ohio State.
A lot of questions. I think they might lean a little bit more to Alabama because they're playing in the championship game, and Ohio State isn't.
But then it goes back to Alabama lost to Texas.
This is why I don't get paid to answer these questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, at the end of if that plays out how it does, all right, how you give me this, you want me to go with Bama wins?
If Bama wins, yep.
All right, if Bama wins, Michigan's gonna win. They'll go to the 1. I think if Bama wins, they get the 2. Maybe the Pac-12 slides into the 2, but either way, 2 plays 3 anyway. So
Bama. Well, if Washington wins, and the Bama scenario happens, Washington will definitely go to 2.
Yeah,
so
undefeated.
It would be Michigan, Washington,
Bama.
Georgia, Alabama, or
Bama wins,
or Texas, Alabama. Dude, I think if Georgia loses in the SEC championship game, they're still getting in the top 4.
And that's why I think Bama might still get left out if they win.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tight. I think you just go Georgia, Alabama as the 3-4.
Bama over Texas.
Yes.
A team that they lost to.
Yes.
That's a little crazy. And then what if Florida State wins, they're just not getting in?
No.
Florida State.
You can't say that because that's too many one-loss team. But I don't know, dude. It's going to be. I think the safe way for the committee to play it is just if the undefeated teams are there, you put the undefeated teams in, and that's the safest way to play it. And if it blows up this weekend and a bunch of teams have 1 losses, they're just going to try and pick what they think are the best, and it's either going to people are going to agree or they're going to disagree. But the bottom line is going to be those are the games that are going to be set. And, just this whole thing makes the NCAA look bad for not having the extended playoff 10 years ago when they first announced it, or the 12 team, whatever it is. So bad job on NCAA for just, absolutely butchering this and just continuing to show why it's so necessary and waiting till 2024 to finally implement it. And now we lose, even if it was 8 teams, it would be electric this year if we had that, if we had an 8-team playoff for the title. Totally electric. So bad job, NCAA. You guys, like usual, I know you guys aren't really well liked around the
Shame
nation.
on you.
Shame on you. Bad job.
In a way, it's almost worse this year to have the 4 than it would be just have the old BCS format with 2.
This is it's horrible this year.
Because at least if you had the 2, you would probably have 2 undefeated teams, and people couldn't really argue. With the 4, you have no idea.
Why can't they just go emergency press conference? 8 teams are going to make the playoff. The top 2 seeds will get a bye, and we're just going to run a playoff. Go.
Well, couple reasons, but
there's a lot of reasons, sure. But dude, get it done. Be heroes for once. Be for the people. Obviously it's a logistical nightmare to have that done in under 3 weeks, but dude, this is horrible. The season is just going to end and we're going to have no idea of what could have been. It's going to create a lot more questions that nobody's going to have answers to. But I know we're getting a lot of time on college football here, and for good reason. The season is heating up, obviously, because there's so many scenarios of how this thing could play out. So I do want to run through championship weekend with you guys real quick without looking at any spreads, any over-under, anything. I'm going to say a game. You give me who you got. I'll start with Brian. And it's going to be the weird ones, too. So don't think you're getting them all, or you're getting just.
Oh, we're getting the Sun Belt Championship.
You're getting a lot of weird ones, and I want to start with New Mexico State taking on number 20 Liberty. Brian, who do you got?
Can I guess the line?
I don't know what the line is. So if you want to guess the line, I would. If I had to guess, I would say this is 15.5 for Liberty.
Well, maybe this New Mexico State team beat Auburn.
Yeah, they are a good team.
But I will say, I wrote about Liberty a month ago after they won a big game and said that this team was going to be a team that would upset a Power 5 school in a bowl game. I'm still sticking to that take. They're obviously ranked. They're ranked 20th, undefeated. They're going to win this game, and they're going to win their bowl game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they play in that. But, Jack, over to you. Pick a winner, man. Who wins? New Mexico State or Liberty?
You're a cold son of a bitch for picking New Mexico State as the first game in our game here. But yeah, I'm going with Liberty. Fuck New Mexico State. I ain't betting on them. Hell no.
Yeah, they've been they've been the more dominant team all year. I know New Mexico State has some Brian juice over there, because why not? Would Brian just have some New Mexico State facts on his side? But yeah, we'll jump over to a pretty decent sized one, but one I think Texas will handle. Oklahoma State, Texas. Brian, who do you got?
Texas by 17.
Jack?
Texas by double digits.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma State's fake good, right? This is a game Texas should handle with ease. But yeah, we'll jump into the weird one. I don't want to go to 2 weird ones back to back, because that would have been a snooze fest. But Miami, Ohio versus 23 Toledo. It is a championship game. Brian, who do you got?
Got the Ford Field MAC championship going.
I do. Hey, Toledo's in the top 25. They're going to be in a pretty, I think a relatively decent bowl game. Who do you got?
I'm gonna take the fake U here. Give me the upset.
Yeah, why not? Miami, Ohio, I think has been decent for their conference this year. I know I've had them in a couple of nonsense parlays, and they covered their spreads. So look out for them, I guess. Jack, what do you got real quick?
I'm going to go with the team that's hot. Give me Toledo.
Yeah, red hot team. I think it's tough to say against them. But again, I'm not giving you nonsense games. I mean, it's championship weekend. Both teams are going to be good. So for the most part, the Big Ten whole situation is ridiculous. And I guess since I just touched on it, we might as well jump to it. Michigan, Iowa, really just not like, the whole East and West, I get it. But like, dude, I mean, who cares about the West? But Iowa and Michigan, I mean, do I even need to cover it? You both got Michigan.
Yeah, I got
I
Michigan, and I do have a fun stat for you. I saw that Iowa's team total
It's
over
5.
6.5.
Yeah, they
They don't
might
think
not even. They literally might put up 0 points.
they don't think they're scoring a touchdown.
It maybe not a field goal.
Yeah, probably not. I do have good news for you. The divisions in the Big Ten will be abolished next year with the expanded playoff.
Right, expanded playoff, and I believe there's a couple teams way out west that are joining the Big Ten or somewhere around the country. I don't know the exact teams.
USC and Oregon.
Yes, there we go. So it'll get a little better, hopefully. But yeah, SMU, Tulane. Tulane's been a wagon all year. I think it's tough not to take them. But Brian, what do you got really quick? And Jack, I'll jump to you next.
SMU doesn't play defense. Tulane plays a little bit of defense. Give me Tulane.
Defense wins championships. Give me Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane honestly should handle that. I think they've played a little bit of a tougher out of conference, like in the beginning of the year schedule as well. They were ranked last year, pretty much ranked all year this year. I think they're the better team here. I think you're safe to take them, but again, who knows? We'll see. Big one, Georgia, Alabama, SEC championship. Who do you guys got?
I hope both teams have a bad time, but I'll take Georgia.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Georgia in this home away from home game.
Yeah, just take Georgia and let's just keep things simple for the Final Four. When the committee makes that decision. But Louisville, Florida State. I gotta say, I'm leaning Louisville here.
Shout out Will Kuhn. Let's go Cards. Louisville.
Go Knowles, baby. Go Knowles.
Jack, I know you're a big Florida State guy, so I know you're not jumping off that. But let's not sleep on Louisville here. They've shown to be more than competent, and Florida State losing their obvious best player. I don't know what's going to happen, but Louisville totally 100% big shot to win this game. And we'll kind of wrap it up with the one we're all eyeing up for this weekend, Oregon, Washington. Crazy spread as Washington is a huge underdog. I guess just because Washington has squeaked by these teams and Oregon blew them out. But in a Pac-12 championship game, you kind of have to throw that out the window. I mean, this is going to be two teams battling it out for, Washington gets locked in the playoff. Oregon, if they win, obviously have a monster shot as well. But Jack, we'll jump to you. I know you I think you were alluding to fading Washington, but I will let you touch on that.
My heart is with Washington, man. I want to believe in the Phoenix. I'm a big fan of those Huskies, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, and that's gonna be on Oregon.
Brian.
Yeah, so this game reminds me a lot of Auburn in 2017 when they went on a run, got up to the number 2 spot in the college football playoff, and then lost to Georgia, who was trying to get into the college football playoff in the championship game. And they were ultimately out, and then Georgia obviously got in. With that being said, the Washington Huskies are the Washington Huskies. They're winning this thing. We called it weeks ago. Give me Washington. I don't know why we're getting this many points. It's easy money. Bo Nix is not a big game quarterback. Go Huskies.
Brian, I love the Bo Nix. I love the Bo Nix trash right at the end there. He isn't a big game quarterback. We've seen it time and time. Sure, the one Iron Bowl I went to, he did win. Didn't matter for Auburn's case because they were already so far out of it. But, Washington. Brian, will you place a money line bet on Washington? I mean, plus 250. This is a team we've been taking all year. They're our future play 4 views from section 400. I guess more for Brian and I as Jack, takes Oregon out of nowhere, which is crazy. But, the Washington Huskies future, I'm riding with them, man. I mean, they got to get it done. They got a shot to get it done here. A lot of points. I asked the question I rambled on, Brian, will there be a money line action on Washington this weekend?
Ugh. Yeah, why not? It might
Hell
be like
yeah.
a $2 bet, but
Hey man, we're not asking for units. We're not asking, we don't care. Just is there going to be some action? That's all we need to know. And it sounds like we got a yes there. It'll be tough to say away, and I'll leave it at that for myself. But yeah, I mean, huge weekend coming up for us here.
yeah, big weekend. Get to. Oh, I don't know where. I should know this. Where the Pac-12 championship is played. Should have asked that before I gave a pick.
Isn't it at the Rose Bowl?
Oh, is it the Rose Bowl?
I have no idea.
I would make
I have no idea.
I don't think that sounds
That's
right.
a great guess. Seems like a great guess.
that is a phenomenal guess.
Jack, you have a guess?
It would be the Rose Bowl or Phoenix, one of the two.
Phoenix is a decent guess too.
I would also possibly.
Oh, this makes sense. It's where the championship for the basketball is played. It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Allegiant
Stadium.
Raiders spot.
Yeah.
That's hype.
Okay, so,
Yes.
So no real home field advantage for either of them.
Yeah,
no. I mean, that's new though. Maybe they did the Rose Bowl in the past. I think they did do the Rose Bowl in the past because
it seems like it. The Rose Bowl Stadium should be the Pac-12 championship. Seems like it would make a lot of sense. But
There's gonna be a lot of points in that game in the dome.
Yeah. That should be. Yeah. Oh yeah. I took the over. I think it was a live line. I got them at like over. Maybe it was like over 71.5 or whatever it was, because I know the final score was like 36-33, but if they kicked the field goal, would have went to overtime. Probably would have hit the over. I know this game is going to soar over whatever line they put out. I don't remember the line off the top of my head, but whatever that over is, dude, could be 54-52 final score.
Yeah,
that's how crazy this game could be.
It might be 100 points scored.
Literally, bro. It literally could be like a 54-52. I don't know what it's going to be, but
it's at 66.
That's hammer that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really low.
That's Lock City. That should be Lock City. Again, like you said, the dome will be crazy, but yeah, I honestly want to leave it up to you guys. Did I miss anything that crazy or that important? Because I think after some college football, that kind of wraps it up. For what we've been having talking about.
Yeah. What did we? Hold on, give me a sec. We're gonna have to cut this part.
Cutter.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this part because I was actually just about to say, I was about to make a pause and say, I gotta leave in probably the next if we should try to wrap it up soon if we want to do any final segments because I
was good to kind of just start rolling to a final segment there. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Brian kind of hit his NBA, hit a little. Did we hit college basketball in the beginning or not really?
No, but there wasn't any major happenings, and I got one for my closing remark. So.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's kind of just do a final segment wrap up. Will, hopefully you catch this because I know it's at the end of the pod. So please, when you go through this, edit this part out. But we're just gonna hit a little final segment here and then wrap it up. But I mean that kind of wraps it up for not only our college football talk right there, obviously a huge weekend coming up, but wraps it up for our episode this week. Again, I always appreciate support, all the support we've been getting on all platforms. I know Twitter's been popping off. So definitely love everybody checking out our website. We see how many views daily we get on the articles and so love to see hundreds, close to thousands. Some days are over 1,000 views on the website. So love you guys checking out all the articles. I know Brian does a lot of hard work to get that up daily for you guys to take a look at. So definitely want to give a shout out to Brian for doing that every day. And he loves doing it because you guys are reading articles, right? I mean, you guys are heading over there, seeing what he has to say. And I know his college basketball train is on like a 12-4 15-2. He's on a tear for college basketball. So look out for those daily, or a couple times a week articles when he's handing out those college basketball picks because they've been red hot. And it's either plus money juice or like a minus 110 even line. He's not handing out minus 500 locks here. This is some good research and some great picks on some competitive even lines. So I just want to say thanks for everyone's support. Thanks for checking out the website. Like I said, we love everybody commenting, leaving reviews, sharing it, and just stay tuned because we got an exciting month of December planned, but also 2024 is going to be crazy. And we just really hope we have a nice following for when that kicks off because, we got a lot of stuff planned, guests, live appearances, meet and greets, meetups, whatever you want to call it. We got a lot of stuff in the works. We got some guests in the works. Some guests people are going to be on, you're probably going to want to tune into. So I know I'm rambling. I will shut up. I appreciate everybody for all the support. And I will leave it up to you guys to close us out. That's all I got. As always, I love y'all. Peace.
Bruce doesn't lose at home, Nate. Your basketball program sucks, Nate.
Cowboys by double digits Thursday night.